What is going on, homosexuals? Come pop a squatty, damn it. I have got some learning experiences to share with you all. A good bit of some natural perspective through sheer experience. Today was a good day. It's always going to be a little different, it's going to be difficult no matter what I do, but when you do a different program and you're just kind of feeling it out, learning what's right and wrong or what could be better or worse, it all just feels a little out of your hands sometimes, and you got to make sure you really keep hold of yourself, I guess, in the midst of it, because it's really easy to get into these workouts, especially with what I'm doing right now, just kind of feeling out comfortably high effort top working set without like rep maxing, but also not doing too little, that kind of shit. It's that back and forth of like one set might feel pretty shitty and I gotta sit there and I can't just get one small pushback from my body or my mind or my program and think everything I'm doing is wrong. Let's start back from fucking scratch, because that's almost never the case. Trust your experience and the effort that you've put in up to this point, because it's not just a matter of how many years you've been doing it doesn't mean anything because you got one slight pushback and now you don't know it's real or not. That's just mental. There's always going to be a huge difference of whether or not you got to make sure you emphasize and distinctly discern whether or not you are putting in too much physical or not enough mental, and of course it can always be both. Today I felt pretty damn good physically. I'll give it a good 8.65, nothing too crazy, but it still felt pretty damn good. It's one of those things where yesterday was great because it was the first day. No matter what you do, if you start a new program, it's pretty hard to have a bad first day unless you get injured or just something out of the blue. But you're typically going to be pretty high energy because you're excited to try something new. And a second day is what you got to really, emphasize. I was telling you guys yesterday where it's so much more than just trying to put in your maximum effort every single set in that moment. It's that on top of understanding whether or not the effort you're putting in that current set, how that'll affect you tomorrow, and will you be able to put in that same effort throughout the week, And thankfully, I am consistently putting in good effort, which is great. But I almost convinced myself on the on the power clean and jerks today that I didn't have it in me, And for a second, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, oh man, like it's just too heavy. My body's like, it just felt slightly off. But I looked at the videos and I thought about how I felt in those sets, and physically, it wasn't that hard, and I'm not that tired. It's just a matter of my mental wasn't in it. And I wasn't, really putting my best effort toward the form and technique and the core strength. Because if you stop locking it in for even a second while you're doing an Olympic lift, your core is going to relax and it's going to make your lift feel twice as heavy, even though you're not weaker, And I was sitting there, I did the 245 set, and I was like, we're trying to make sure, I'm trying to not rep max, and I don't want to go too heavy. And I really thought about it, and I'm like, okay, if I know for a fact that I feel fine and that set only felt heavy because the form was a little off, that's not a strength issue. That's like more mental and thorough of an issue, having that good flow throughout your entire technique. And it takes a lot of core confidence and a good mentality, a good hyped up set. Honestly, it can be really easy to overthink when you're whipping a bar over your head and tell yourself that you're just not there today when you are. You kind of have to, strike when the iron's hot, just to make sure that at the very least you give it that attempt so that you can learn, because it wasn't the reason I decided to go to 255 today was on top of realizing it was mostly mental. It was also the fact that I had no doubt in my mind that I could do it. And I also knew it would not be like a PR rep max set, And so with those facts in mind, I'm sitting there and I'm like, so I'm just mentally fucking myself, You really have to be able to separate whether or not you are putting in way too much physical exertion and not listening to your, to your mind and your body in the moment. Or you could be physically completely 100% okay and then just dragging yourself down in the mud because you feel a little tired, So you got to at least give it that effort for the set that can be okay. Because it was just the fact that I knew it wasn't a rep max set, It was just a set that would have been a little bit harder. And that's what I need. I have to hit that set that's just hard enough, but not too hard to the point where it hurts my body physically, It's putting in exactly as much energy exertion that my body can handle without having diminishing returns. I need to make sure that I have, sorry, I'm fucking fumbling right now. I got to be able to put in as much energy as my body will be able to exert and build off of without failing, It's not a rep max, it's just, understanding what your fatigue truly feels like. It's so easy to let it get away from yourself and think that you're more fatigued than you really are when your mental starts taking over, But thankfully, I got to the squats, and it was a bit slow getting into it. But I told you yesterday I'm doing ass to grass for this entire next program so that I can get my knee truly back to 100% without a single doubt in mind, because I just don't want to play with that shit. It felt great. The 315 actually moved pretty slow because I wasn't taking that much rest in between my warm-ups. I was just kind of going back to back to back. And I kind of took that second to let my body get used to it again. And more than that, I had to make sure I locked in my mental enough to where I could commit to whatever form my body was capable of exerting, Because I kept sitting there like overthinking where my 90-degree squat would be or what needed to be like the most technical, when you really just got to go exactly where your body feels its strongest, So right now, my ass to grass, although it's the most comfortable mentally, physically it is not the most confident and it's not the strongest right now. It might be in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to take my knee out again if I start going heavy like that again. So I did the best ass to grass I could, allowed my body the wiggle room it needed to grow through that. And it started, it's always great to see the progression of it, because it starts as the 90-degree squats, like it feels like my hip line is like barely scratching 90 degrees when I start, because I'm thinking about it a little bit too much. And then the more I get into the set, and the less I worry about the little things and all the fucking semantics about it, I get in that groove. And those last couple reps at 385, I was hitting deep, And more than that, I'm really relearning what it means to understand how much energy I want to be putting in every day, because I can't just sit there and say, oh, well, that set moved really quickly and really good and I felt great, let's go up again, because that's where you start getting into the rep max territory. That's the RP 9 and 10. I'm trying to stick at 7 and 9 or 7 and 8, and only 9 and 10 if I feel absolutely fucking goated in the moment, because the 7 or 8 RPE that I'm trying to get around is not going to be the same every day, and an RP 7 or 8 today might be an RP 9 or 10 next week, and I might be able to go to 4 plates or even higher for a set of 6. You just never know. And even more than that, an RP 7 or 8 might feel like an RP fucking I had those switched up. If it feels like a 9 or 10, that means I have less energy. So if I go heavier, then a 7 or 8 might feel like a 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying? It's just that back and forth of, you never know where your body's going to be at, but you just got to give it that 100% and the effort of experiencing what is possible in that moment, so you actually know where your body's at. This is why I don't like maxing out, because you've set up these days where there's obligation and expectation on how you should be lifting, where your numbers should be at, exactly how perfect you should be on a certain day. And that's just not how shit works, man. No matter how perfect a program you have, you've got to have the days where you jump at the opportunity to exert that 100% maximum effort that your body's capable of giving. That's, it feels like the biggest regret between most Olympic lifters or any lifters ever, where they feel 100% primed. They know that they can crush the weight that they've been wanting to hit, but they decide to stick to the lighter weights because they are scared of getting off of the program they've been doing for so long. And you've got to have variety. I think the number one sign of growth in lifting in general is having a good wide range of variety and, acceptance for, just new stimuli in general. Just having a new experience every now and then just to test your body out, see what's capable. You're never going to have the same potential or the same capabilities that you had today compared to a day from now, a week from now, a year from now. You just never fucking know. You just got to be able to be flexible and try, because the 255 was scary because I was very low energy in the moment. I wasn't really feeling it that much, but I was like, okay, well, I know I can do it. Everything that's telling me not to do it is my mental. So I got to get my mental up and maintain my physical, because my physical was fine. That was it. And after getting that confidence, I went to the squats, and although 385 by no means is a PR set or as high as I could have gone today, the feeling that I'm chasing right now is more so that those last few reps, if not that last rep or two right at the end, feeling that grind out there, and then kind of just allowing my body to recover from there rather than trying to feel that way throughout the entire set. Because on the last, I think right when I got to the second to last rep and last rep on the 385 squat, I felt my core start to tingle a little bit, start to get a little numb. That means I'm starting to really exert myself. I'm starting to get to that higher level of energy that, the set started at a 7, but then it ended at an 8, And if I'd gone up to 405, which was my previous rep max, which I have no doubt I could do, honestly, I think I'd be able to do it pretty confidently. But it's the fact that I would pick that barbell up and it would immediately feel like a 9 and end at a 10. That's what I want to avoid, because that is what led to my injuries. And again, if I have the physical and mental capabilities in that day for a 9 or 10 RP to feel like a 7 or an 8, then I'm going to go for it. Of course, that's where my growth comes from. That's where my potential is. But I can't force it on a day where I'm just not high enough, where I'm not at that level. And you got to stay humble, damn it. But anyway, just to close it out, I got to let y'all know how I'm feeling. Because after all that, again, it's hard. I'm learning a new style of training. It's fun and exciting because of the mystery behind it. It's ambiguous like life. But, my body's going to fight me every now and then. And I got to, kind of fight through it without overexerting myself to the point where I can't do it. That's what I did last time. And I'm not trying to repeat old mistakes. I'm trying to grow from them. So mentally, I'll give it an 8.5, just below the physical today. That's pretty rare for the mental to be lower. But yeah, I just got to be honest. It still was a good day. I felt pretty damn great. And I felt more and more confident the more I went through it. But I definitely questioned myself a bit more than I wanted to. I didn't trust myself as much as I should have. I'm the boss of my body. No matter how I may feel or what might be happening in my personal life, how much energy I have, I know my body. I know what I'm supposed to feel like. I know what I want to feel like. I know what I want to aim for, and I know what I don't want to repeat. So if I have all this experience and all this knowledge, then I've got to trust the effort in that moment and worry about the little shit later on, Put in that high mental effort and then put in just enough physical to where I can maintain and grow through the effort that I'm trying to put in every day. Because this is why, this new program is written out to where block 1 is going to be 3 weeks of my highest volume. I like my programs to look like a pyramid. So, because, the wider base of conditioning you have, the higher peak you can reach. So for the next 3 weeks, this being the first week, I'm going to be doing my triples on Olympic lifts and sets of 6 on power lifts, just like always. But I'm going to do this for 3 weeks. And then when I get to my next block, that would be the doubles on Olympic lifts and sets of 4 on power lifts, I'm going to do only 2 weeks because the issues I was running into before was doing too much set volume and trying to absolutely replicate how much I could do number-wise rather than effort-wise, and I didn't even realize it because until I had enough experience to see it more clearly. That's just how it is. I already had the knowledge, and I already knew what that meant. I just hadn't gone through it enough to be fully confident in where I was at. That's it, you know? You can have all the knowledge in the fucking world and still not know where you're at, you know? You got to really just give it that time and effort and consistency so that you can become fully passionate about it. And then that last block is literally just 1 week, because I used to try to do 3 weeks every single block when I was doing the Rep Max program. And doing 3 weeks of Rep Max type training at singles on Olympic lifts and sets of 2 on power lifts is fucking dumb. Let me tell you up front, it's fucking dumb. It don't work. I'm just going to have that 1 week where I try my best, and if I don't PR, I don't PR, whatever. But it puts the obligation of a max away, because that's not why I train. I just train to put in maximum effort without regard for the number. The numbers will come if you put in the effort and the discipline and the passion and consistency and all that shit. But you got to have fun in the moment, you know? You can't overthink the little shit and, you know, destroy yourself thinking that you're not doing good enough just because the numbers don't look the same or the effort don't look the same. You just got to put in what your body's able to give you today. God damn it. So I'll just do that 1 set of singles and doubles at the end of the program, wherever my numbers are at. Cool. Reset back to the conditioning part, and we'll go from there. You know, that's what I really like. And again, as I grow and my body either slows down or picks up, I'll probably have to do more conditioning. I might make it to where I do 5 weeks of volume, and then or like 5 weeks of my highest volume, and then 3 weeks of my mid volume, and then maybe keep it at 1 week for that heaviest volume. I don't know. We'll see it when I get there. But it's working, and I'm feeling better, and I'm excited for tomorrow because I haven't been able to push bench in a while with anything heavy, so it'll be nice to see where my body's feeling it, you know? But either way, that's all I got. I appreciate y'all hearing me fucking yap about. I didn't really have a plan for what I wanted to talk about, so I apologize if it was kind of all over the place, but I feel great. I'm excited. I want to see where this goes. You know, I kind of have less to talk about because I'm just kind of rolling with it, you know, just waiting to see exactly where my body's going to be at and what effort I'm going to be able to put in the long term. So let me know how those lifts and those lives have been going. Love hearing about that shit. I'll be back tomorrow. I've got pause snatch and pause bench press. Yeah. So it'll be a day. It'll be a day for the shoulders. We'll see where I'm at, see what I'm feeling, and just do the best I can. God damn it. That's all it means, you know? So I appreciate all you guys. I love you, and I'll be back tomorrow. See ya.